Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, the 14th of November, 2022, and welcome to Hindsight, where we learn to be a better trader. We're going to take a look at TMB, or Tambourah Metals Limited today. It was a lithium rock chip based announcement, and it moved pretty significantly. Yesterday, it closed at 15.5 cents and opened today at 24 cents. A pretty significant move for rock chips. It was about 6 mil market cap on Friday, and today it opened at around 10 mil market cap, give or take. We'll go through the trades that I've taken today, why I've taken them, and what could have been done better. So what we have here, we'll go through the stock price action first and the entries and exits. So in real time, it was a match at 24, so it took a little bit there. And I always wanted to buy the dip on this thing if it didn't just pop to the upside. So take a little bit. If it comes off, then I'll scale in. And if it starts popping to the upside, I'll join the momentum. So either way, I'm going to be having a position on this. So a dip, I didn't want to get the actual dip itself. I wanted to wait for it to stop selling off and start joining the momentum to the upside. So 24 scaled in. I think it might have been 23, 23.5, and on the way back up. Now, the volumes here are a little bit deceptive because these are ASX volumes, not GX as well. So this sell candle is pretty significant in that it had twice the volumes you see here. It was about 500,000, I think, roughly, a little over 500,000 shares that just sold off all at once. I'm not sure if that was a market order. I actually wasn't watching it in real time. I just saw this candle pop up and the volumes executed, and I was just like, get the fuck out. The last thing I want to see is a range break. So as you can see, in the first, or rather the second candle, it develops a high. So it goes up, pulls back, third candle bottoms out and comes back up to the upside. So we've developed a range very early on, which is pretty good to see. And then it's all about trying to break this momentum here at 26 to the upside with volume. And as you can see, it just fails. And I don't want to see that first thing in the morning, right? This is the opening price action, the first 15 minutes of the trade. I don't want to see high volumes right at the highs just as we break the highs or break the range, instantly come off. So start scaling out. And for me, this is a greedy trade. I want 21. So after seeing that high volume selling, I'm not concerned this is going to go without me, because if it pops to the upside and swings again, that's fine. I could just join the momentum, not a big deal. I don't want to be caught in the middle, because what's the point? There's no entry here. You know, I'm not going to get an entry at 23.5, 24. It doesn't make sense. I'm in the middle of a range, and there was high volume selling. It just doesn't make sense. So waiting to get filled. Got 21, a little bit of 21, and then I went greedy and went for just under 21 as well, so 20.5. Bids came in pretty hot, stacking 20 and 19.5 and 19. And you might be wondering what the risk was. Well, the risk was 21 cents and 20.5, and sell at 19 was the plan. So just before the stop, and that's not a hard stop, that's a mental stop. So I don't want to get wicked out just because some dude puts in 15 bucks on the sell side. Especially when the bids were, I think, about 250k stacked, so I'm not going to get triggered like that. And I didn't get 20.5 on this part here, because why bother? If it's going down, I don't want add on. It's already below the range for the day. The idea is if it holds this level, add on, and then just join the momentum to the upside. Guys, before I get to the rest of the video, I just want to say that we have Australia's largest day trading community. Doesn't matter what your skill set is, you're welcome, whether you're a day trader, investor, swing trader, or whether you're a professional or an amateur, first time in the markets, it doesn't really matter. We welcome everyone to our community, and the best part is we constantly improve our community to give traders an edge through software and bot development. Here's just a few examples of what we have. My personal favorite is /drill results to make sure I haven't missed any announcements that are related to drilling this morning. We have /socials, and we have Reddit, Hotcopper, Discord, or all social platforms combined. And it shows us the sentiment of the top 12 discussed stocks today. We also have /lookup, and then we type in the ticker, for example, FMG or Fortescue Metals. And this shows us a summary of the stock, including the shares on issue, the market cap, and the short positions currently on the stock. We also have /scans Oz Day 2, and this is potential Day 2 plays, which shows us the biggest movers from the previous day that may follow through today. So guys, if you're interested in joining the community, please click the link in the description below. So really happy with those entries, 21, 20 and a half. I think I might have even got 22 as well. And you guys might be wondering, because this starts developing, it's like, did I sell the top? No, not even close. So before I get to the actual closing price that I ended up getting, or the exit that I made, one thing I've noticed is a lot of people, when if they enter somewhere around here, they get a really good entry, right? That just, for me, this is really good as it gets. And it starts coming back up, right? We hit 23 with a few dollars. Starts coming off. People start panicking here. Just anywhere on the pullback, right? I don't think that's an appropriate way to respond to a chart setup. For me, I want to see higher highs, higher lows. So it starts moving back up. Now, there is no higher high really in this setup. That's probably about 24 and a half, right? That's the previous high, comes off. But we at least start swinging to the upside, and at least we make a higher low. And the higher low is what? Based on the previous support level. And then it starts swinging up. Now we've broken and made higher highs. And you might be thinking, is this a breakdown? No, because that was like maybe $100 of volume or something. It was pretty insignificant. Bids were chopping about as well, so bids kind of disappeared. Someone hit the bid when there was like a 2-tick spread, I think it was. And so you can see this little bit of a mess on the chart. But ultimately, it's not a high volume sell or anything. It's just a pullback. We make new highs again. Pull back, make new highs again. Now, the idea for this, for me, was to build a much larger position to break to the upside. So I didn't scale out. And we'll talk about why this was a mistake a little bit later on when we go through the fundamentals of the actual news announcement. But we keep going sideways. The add-on was around 24. The idea was, I can't remember if it was 24 or 24.5 because it was just this previous high. And of course, we've got VWAP lining up as well, which is really nice to see. So it keeps going sideways, and then it breaks the structure. And then I've just pretty much got no choice but to hit out. So we've got this, let me just draw the line here. So we've got VWAP mixed in with the pivot point here, and it starts breaking down, right? And it's not normal to really see more than one bounce, maybe a second bounce if it consolidates, but the buying was really weak. The book was really weak, so it was just scaling out. Scaling out from, I can't remember if it was 24 or 24.5, but pretty much hit out and all out in here. So probably more like that. Just the weakness is there and I wanted it out. The scale out. And that's the end of the structure, right? So we've stopped going up and we've started going down. Right, it's to put it in real smooth brain terminology. So yeah, look, the exit wasn't great. The potential was 28 cents. Ended up getting probably 23.5 average from a 20.5 to 21 cent entry point. So one could look at this and go, you missed out on this much profit. But I look at it as I gained this much. So I'm not really losing out. Like, it sucks that the structure's broken, but again, the idea was to add on and to break into new highs, right? And largely, this idea came from the fact that lithium is just rallying really hot lately. It doesn't matter what sort of lithium stock, doesn't matter what sort of lithium announcement. We can refer to WR1, which hit 160 meters of pegmatites collectively. It doesn't say if it's lithium bearing. The assumption is that it's lithium bearing, but this rallied to, I think it was 170 mil market cap at the peak, just to show you just how absurd this is. Sure, it might come up with good grades, once it goes through the lab results and stuff like that and comes back and yeah, it could be hot, but that's a gamble. 170 mil for 160 meters of pegmatites doesn't actually mean that much. The images of the drill cores were, I guess, nice. I mean, I'm not very good at eyeballing them. I mean, I discussed it in my previous video that talked about WR1 and the sort of confusion that I had about that stock. But ultimately, if we look at TMB's announcement, we'll sort of talk through the interesting parts and the not so interesting parts. First things first is multiple pegmatites confirmed at the lithium project. So thumbs up, we got something there. We have a strike length of over 500 meters of LCT prospective pegmatites. And you're probably wondering what LCT pegmatites are, and that's lithium, cesium, and tantalum, right? And LCTs are formed during the fractionation from granite. It's kind of like an ideal structure to hit during drilling. Now, LCTs are going to be different no matter where you go and what drills you make. They're all going to be wildly different. But what you'll find commonly is that when you actually have a drill and it comes out with lithium, you're going to have LCT-based pegmatites. So what we have is a sampling of this with multiple pegmatites. So sampling is just another word for rock chips, and we'll see that a little bit further down. So that sounds nice. It all just sounds nice for as far as the rock chip announcements go. And you guys know I fucking hate rock chip announcements. If it's copper, if it's gold, if it's nickel, cobalt, it doesn't matter. Rock chips just don't fucking do anything. But if it's lithium, for whatever reason, the market seems to care. So hence why I took the trade in the first place. Now, the one thing I didn't really factor in, if we scroll down, and this kind of confirms that it's not drill results, right? They're holding rock chip samples, or what they call sampling. They show images of that. Now, this is the part that kind of sucks. And if I sort of did more due diligence, I probably would have hit out as it formed a new high, or at the highs, I should say. And that's this part here. That's about 500 parts per million of lithium, or 0.055%. Now, if you guys look back at previous lithium announcements that actually rallied, and we had one recently, I think it was a TKM, I think. I'd have to go back. I honestly can't remember the stock ticker, but there was a stock that pumped, did a big ass pullback, and then actually had a day 2 rally on rock chips. Like, it's fucking wild. I think the market cap was in the 30 to 40 mil range or something crazy. And a crazy high, mind you. And it still ran on those results. But the rock chip announcements tend to have high grades. We're talking like 2% to 4%. And for whatever reason, that gets the market's interest more. For whatever reason, people still seem to believe that rock chips reflect what's underground. And it may reflect the actual minerals that are underground, but it doesn't reflect the grades. It doesn't reflect the intercept thickness. It doesn't define anything other than a potential mineral that's underground. Now, for as long as I've been trading micro caps, which is probably about 8 years now, I've never seen a rock chip with high grades translate to anything high grade underground. If it's ever happened, I don't know about it. But effectively, it just never happens. Just never happens. There may be a unicorn instance, and I'd really love it if someone here could point out an example of high rock chip grades that translate to underground, high grade as well. That'd be sick. I'd love to learn if that's ever happened. But as far as I've seen, it just doesn't occur. Now, it's one thing to have shitty grades or really good grades and have the market interpret that differently. So we've got like shitty grades, which is here at 0.055%. Market doesn't like it, right? There's a reason these grades aren't on the front page. If this was 2 to 5% lithium, you've got a different story. That'll be on the front page. It'd be a headline. Why? Because stocks move on this shit. Even though it doesn't translate to what's underground in terms of grading, people still seem to think it matters, and therefore a stock launches even harder. So I guess a way that I could adjust this trade is probably pay more attention, actually read through the announcement more, but see if there's actual grades. And if it's less than 1%, or probably more like less than 2%, then probably don't just trade the momentum, but just get out at the highs. At least half is probably what I would do next time. Because it doesn't surprise me that volumes have come in for a next rally to retest the highs. That doesn't surprise me at all. It's lithium. You know, lithium's really fucking hot. Like, if you guys haven't noticed how hot it is in the last 3 months, you've been day trading full time on the microcap end, then what the fuck are you doing? Right? Lithium is just hot. I don't like the announcement, but I still trade it because the sector's hot. So this trade I still think is reasonable to take it to the retest of the highs, purely based on the sector and how hot it is. But based on the announcement and the drill results that came out, the grades are fucking terrible. 500 parts per million of lithium is... I could get a fucking shovel and dig in the front yard, and I'd probably have just as much lithium. Now, don't take that seriously, but you get my point. There's just fuck all lithium there. So if I'd actually paid attention to that aspect of it, I would have just either closed out half and see what happens here and closed out the other half as a broke structure at a bare minimum. Or just close out the bulk and re-enter and then close out. I think either one would do. But ultimately, that's the trade that I've taken for today, and that's the improvement that I'll probably pay attention to in the future. Is just not missing that aspect of the drill result, or rather the sampling results. So guys, if you learned anything, please hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that good shit. Otherwise, guys, catch you in the next one. Cheers.